Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to press ahead with the Trade Promotion Authority bill. There are some amendments pending. We're hoping to get more pending and disposed of, moving toward hopefully completion this week. We'll also be dealing, as I indicated earlier, with FISA and with highways before we leave this week. I will say there is, with regard to the amendment that Senator Stabenow and Senator Portman are going to offer, dealing with the currency issue, there is a veto threat from the administration if that amendment is adopted. Most of my members, there are some exceptions, but most of my members are opposed to it. We want to see a completed Trade Promotion Authority bill that can become signature. We'd like to send a bill to the House that's in a form they can take up and deal with. And so we'll be working hard to keep any amendments off the bill that would defeat the bill, tank the bill at some place in the process. With that, let me turn to Senator Cornyn.
Well, I'm told the House just voted the Justice for Victims of Trafficking Act 420-3, and so I'm glad to see after a long haul that this important piece of legislation is now on its way to the President's desk for signature. As we said during the debate, this is all about trying to help rescue typically the 12 to 14-year-old girl who is subjected to what can only be described as modern-day slavery. And so I'm glad now that both houses of Congress have spoken to this issue in such an overwhelming bipartisan fashion to help those who don't have a voice but need us to be their voice. And I'm grateful to the House for their good work, and to Congressman Ted Poe in particular for his leadership in the House.
Passage of Trade Promotion Authority is the best way to get trade deals that are favorable for American workers and that open up new markets to products marked made in the USA. Passage of this Trade Promotion Authority and the trade deals that follow from that are good for American farmers, ranchers, small businesses, manufacturers, and they're also critically important from a security standpoint. We know that it's important for our economy, we know it's important for jobs, but if you look at the impact that these trade deals can have on the relationships that are so important, the stability and the security of that region of the world, you can't overstate how relevant, how important these trade deals are in that respect either. And particularly with regard to the Trans-Pacific Partnership and the relationships that we have with countries like Japan and Singapore that provide a counterweight to China's influence in that region, these trade deals are really important as we look at not only their impact on the economy, but their impact on our security. So I hope that we'll be able to move this across the floor this week with a lot of Democrat support, and it'll end up being a bipartisan victory, another bipartisan achievement for this Congress that will be good for the American people and good for jobs and for our economy.
I just want to reemphasize the 2 points that Senator Thune made. Trade for us, trade agreements are about tearing down barriers. We don't have very many barriers. Other countries do, and what we wind up doing is we take down small barriers to their products in return for seeing them take down large barriers to our products. That creates opportunities for better jobs, for good paying jobs for families, for agriculture, for making things and growing things. This can be a particularly good trade agreement, and beyond that, it really will have impact. The upcoming agreement on TPA. In fact, every agreement, the TPP agreement, every agreement we enter into transforms the economy where people are on the other end of that agreement. They find out that the rule of law matters, that a win-win relationship's important, that an ongoing relationship's important. The alternative, almost always very colonial, very cynical. How this part of the world develops in TPP, or how anybody that we enter into a trade agreement with moves forward economically, is dramatically impacted, and they like us better. It's like when foreign travelers come here, one of the great benefits, they always go home in virtually every case thinking the United States of America is a lot better place than before they visited. Same thing happens when people do business with us and with the model that we project around the world. So the economic reasons are strong. The national security reasons, perhaps every bit as strong. These are the right kinds of things to do as we pursue more opportunities for American workers.
I would just add one thing on trade. Some of you were out here earlier today. We had a small businessman from Shelbyville, Kentucky, who has 3 employees, here today, talking about how important TPA is. He exports 10% of what he makes. And so trade is important to small businesses as well as to large businesses. I just wanted to add that point. Yeah.
House Republican leadership has effectively said their work is done on FISA. They sent you a bill, 338 votes, and their work is done.
All right.
Will you be bringing up the USA Freedom Act? I mean, is that the plan?
Well, regardless of what the House's position may be, we have an obligation to deal with the Patriot Act. We're going to deal with it this week, and it's my view that letting it expire is not a responsible thing to do. So we'll see where the will of the Senate is. We'll find out where the votes are. I certainly think we ought to allow a vote on the House-passed bill. If there are not enough votes to pass that, then we need to look at an alternative. And I am not making a prediction right now about how it comes out, because what I think is the most important thing is to make sure we still have a program that works and helps protect the American people from attacks. That's the bottom line here. And we're going to work toward addressing that this week, and we'll see how it turns out.
When will you file closure on TPA?
I'll let you know. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. What I've said, I'm not a supporter of XM, but what I've said was that I think they're entitled to their vote, and we'll be working with the supporters of the XM Bank to make sure they have an opportunity to see where the votes are in the Senate.
Will that opportunity, Senator, will that opportunity be as an amendment to the trade bill, or is it a different vehicle?
No, it shouldn't be on TPA, because that would be another undue burden to TPA, which has been a challenging enough exercise, as you know already. Thank you very much.